So another way of making a kaleidoscope, if you want, but a much simpler process. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in some guides so I can kind of center it. A nice way that you can do it on here is if you go new guide, you can put in centimeters, but you can actually put in percentages as well. So if you go 50% vertical, it divides up the box for you. New guide, horizontal, 50%. Okay, so we've got our central mark. I'm just going to chuck a white background out in so we can see what's going on a bit easier. So with this one, I'm just going to scale the image. This is one that you can do it with lots of objects, but for me, it works a lot. It works a lot better when you're dealing with the human form. So with this one here, I've got the center mark more or less over that center point. And then it's a simple process of duplicating it. And all we're doing with this one is edit, transform, and we're flipping it. So flip horizontal. The difference is with the top image, we're going to put it to darken. And you get much more of a kind of combination between those two images that becomes a bit more interesting. With this, I can click on the top one and go Command E. Oh, just apply, so I'm not preserving the masks. And then with this one, duplicate it, and this time I go Edit, Transform, and it's vertical this time. And the same thing, I can hit darken. The nice thing with this is you change it to darken, but each time you do a new layer and you combine it, it goes back to being normal. So with this, Command E. So it means now if we get a color in behind here, it still retains some of its value. It doesn't, whoops, it doesn't do this, where it just kind of changes to the color that's underneath it. It's still got a little bit of normalcy. So with this one, what we can do now is grab all of that, duplicate it, and then you can Command T, and you can do a transformation where now we're dealing with percentages. Whoops, not 5. 45. I can go okay with that. Darken. Now you can see that darkening it is going to start to dilute it a wee bit. It's going to start to get a wee bit muddy within there. I don't know if we've got any other options that might brighten it up a wee bit. Got lighten that'll start to work. So we've got that. And with this one, if I duplicate it, I can go back to the transformations where it's image. Sorry, edit, transform, flip horizontally, still on lighten, so Command E, Command E. And you'll see as soon as, if I go Command Z, we have the lighten here that's over the black background, but as soon as we Command E it with the one underneath, it fills it in. It takes it back to takes it back to normal, so that you start to get something that has this kind of odd kaleidoscopic quality to it. And of course, you've got all those options now where you can go in and you can play around with levels, curves. And start to brighten this up a bit, all the midtones in, all the darks up, brighten the whites. Flip it with the Option key so it doesn't cover the blue underneath. And let's go in and have a look at it. So I suppose you can do it a few times and it's kind of interesting, but once you go too far, it starts to become a bit muddy in the middle of that. So if you want to keep the look of the people, but if we zoom in on that, it's also becoming, the more you add on to it, the more it's becoming this kind of intense, typical kind of kaleidoscopic pattern.